Hi, this is Craig. We're at Goods and Guitars here in Odessa, Texas. Last time we were working on this bass, the truss rods broke off and we're going to replace the rod in it. Last time we got the fretboard off using a couple of different techniques. We used putty knives, heat gun. I even used my heat blanket for bending sides. We also used an iron to heat up all the glue and get this thing off. It came off really clean. Had just a little bit of scraping to do to get the rest of the glue off. And now what we're going to do is pull this center section out right here so we can see what we got to do to get our new rod in there. Now this is the first time I've been inside one of these necks, so I'm not 100% sure what's going on in here, but I do know that to get our rod in there, all this has got to come out. It looks to me like they have put their rod in there and then went back over it with some material. I just got to see how thick it is to see how we're going to pop this out of here. Now the thing I'm worried about is this truss rod was under a lot of tension, and I don't know if they backed it off or not, and if this thing when I pop this thing out of here, how quick it's going to come out at me. The last thing I want it to do is knock me out, which I doubt that would happen. It's supposed to be a joke, but alright, it's not too thick, so what we're going to do now is just keep whittling this stuff back until we can get in there and pull that one out. Alright, so we're about 2/3 of the way of exposing the rod. I'm going to get the rest of this out. We'll get the rod out. Now, what I'm probably going to do, because there's probably 1/4 inch, 3/8 of meat on top of the truss rod. The rod that I'm going to use is, excuse me, this one here. It's a low profile rod, and so it's going to fit in like so. So probably what I'm going to end up doing is refilling this entire channel with a piece of maple, and then I'll go in with a router and route the channel for this rod. It turns out that these are this is one of the older bases. These look like they're actually metal, and so if I can get those out, I'll replace them with the carbon fiber, but we'll just have to see. So I'm going to keep going on this, and we'll come back when I got it out. Okay, so we have the rod exposed, and so now we're going to try to get it out. It looks like there's some sort, maybe epoxy on the other end, but we're just going to keep working slowly. Let's see if we can't get this thing to come out. It's a single action rod, whereas this must be one of their really older models, because being single action like that, their website says that it's dual, but we're at a point now where we might as well just pull it out instead of trying to use a rescue. We'll just keep working it and get it out and put a new one in, complete new one. We got some material here that looks like it might be in the way. Of course it fits. I was trying not to go too wide with the chisel when I worked all the material out. That way my rod fits snug, but we're gonna have to keep going with it until it comes out. So I'm gonna quit talking and pay attention to what the hell I'm doing. It looks like I'm probably just butchering this neck, but there's actually a good 1/16 of an inch over to the glue seam where they glued this piece of maple back in on top of the rod. So we're gonna be all right. Yeah, there's a big chunk up there. That rubber coating on it is definitely causing me a little bit of grief, but there ain't a whole lot of material behind that, so that's why I think I'm gonna go ahead and fill this in completely with new material and then reroute it for that channel. What I'm doing now is I'm just cutting right down along the side of the rod, moving just only the amount of material that I need to. I think getting the fretboard off was easier. And I do have some glue or epoxy, probably epoxy down here, that I'm gonna have to heat up to get the rest of this thing out of here. So might as well get the heat gun plugged in and going. All right, and that rod's out. I don't think we'll be able to use it again though. All right, we're gonna clean all this up, and when we come back, we're gonna figure out exactly how we're gonna approach filling this in, getting it cleaned up, and see if we can. If we ain't got enough space to put carbon fiber beside here, unless we ran them like from here to here. But we don't want to do that. We want them to go full length, so these may just have to stay. One of the things we can do is when we get ready to put the fretboard back on, we can put the neck into a back bow when we glue it. That way it goes, it's already got some relief to it, and then when the string tension comes on, it'll pull it straight so the truss rod doesn't have to do so much work. But right now we're going to get this channel cleaned out. I appreciate y'all sticking with me and watching. Okay, so we got the channel cleaned out and we're ready to start putting things back together. So I'm going to call it for this part. I'm going to get this edited and uploaded, and then we'll go from there in a couple of days. I got some other things I need to work on. So I'll show you where we're at. Let me flip the camera around here without looking like a total idiot. Truss rod channel is cleaned out. Our plan is to put new material in and then reroute for the new truss rod. It's going to go in like so, and we'll get that installed. We'll get the fretboard put back on, and then we'll get the finish squared away. Unfortunately, since this is urethane, I'm not going to really be able to blend it like you can with lacquer, so I'm going to have to sand the whole thing down, rough it up, touch up where there's some whiskey bumps on it, and then reshoot the clear, wet sand and buff it out. But it should be playable then, and it should look like $1 million, and then we'll move on to the next job. Thanks for watching.